Good morning. My name's William Devreede, and today I'll just be talking about some lessons that I learned throughout this course, and then how I can then apply it to my day-to-day management practices. So before I get into them, I just want to say that the course was extremely helpful. For me personally, most of the things taught in the course we do on a day-to-day basis, which is amazing. It's just really good to get that reinforcement, including a couple more improvement things that we can look at. So starting off, the first one is Industry 4.0. Whilst I was aware broadly of what Industry 4.0 is, I wasn't aware to the extent that it was applicable, particularly in the consulting or the procurement industries. It's good to see that Industry 4.0 is here to stay, as it were. It's widely applicable. It's used across a range of industries, and there's a lot of benefits. Obviously, there are some risks, including the adoption, culture, and just getting, I guess, other people on board. But yeah, by and large, Industry 4.0 is here to stay. I can see a lot of benefits in how businesses can adopt it, and then how I can then work in and adopt practices as well. In terms of how it shapes my management practices, obviously it's an exciting opportunity. My role would be more of a consulting type role, so I can use my knowledge of Industry 4.0 to help my clients, especially within the public service or government sectors. And it really reinforces with Industry 4.0, I did realize quite often, similar to a lot of these slides, that some colleagues may not be as ready. Some industries may not be as ready, or even some companies themselves may not be as ready. So that's okay. That's perfectly reasonable and acceptable. We just need to make sure our colleagues are prepared throughout change management. Moving on to the next one is change management. So with change management, a lot of the things that I learned in my expectations were reinforced. Obviously, change management is quite common, particularly in the consulting world. Change management is extremely important, and yeah, it's necessary at times, particularly in order to remain competitive and sustain operational excellence. In terms of change management as well, other things I learned was it's not just processes. Change management can include things like culture, can include things like technologies, all those sort of things. So it's not just making processes more modern. There's a bit more to it. And also employees, similar to most of the slides I'll be talking about, employees are the key. They remain at the center of everything, and they definitely need to be consulted throughout change management. Obviously, change can be difficult. We all know that. Change isn't easy, particularly when things work and flow, but sometimes it is necessary, particularly given the benefits. How this would shape my management practices, I've largely spoken about, but the other one is just in terms of the business needs to be prepared for change. That was a big thing that came out of this one, because without the business being prepared, it's very hard to implement change particularly quickly. Another thing that I learned was just around strategic documents and the linkages between all areas of a business. So similar to change management, I largely knew strategic documents and their place within an organization. However, I wasn't aware to the extent that they do affect multiple teams. So marketing strategy, for example, whilst it may not directly affect the procurement team, procurement's quite a large part of a marketing strategy, given that if goods and services aren't delivered, then you cannot market them. So it's just those sort of things that I learned. I also learned / reinforced the importance of capturing all views from different people, different teams, management, etc., in order to create more of a holistic strategic document as opposed to piecemeal or siloed documents. In terms of how this would shape my management practices, obviously getting multiple views is imperative. Different viewpoints are good in the fact that each team or person views things slightly differently. So trying to capture all that feedback is 100% beneficial. In terms of strategic documents, whilst they're good and they are suitable at a point in time, they do need to be reviewed regularly, and then obviously updated as the needs or the market changes. Another thing that I will apply to my management practices is analysing a wide range of sources. So in the procurement space, looking at things like the World Commerce and Contracting organisation, or even competitors, to sort of fast track lessons learned. So instead of doing the same thing over and over again, having a look at what other people have done and measuring their success. Moving on, the next one is the management of operational improvement. This is ongoing. So this is similar to strategic documents where obviously operational improvement is critical in order to sustain success and have a competitive advantage. In terms of expectations or things that I learned, similar to most of these, the culture of an organization is very important. A culture founded on continuous improvement and innovation is always going to be better than a lot of siloed individual teams. I also learned the importance of incremental improvement and the importance of engaging with the employees and always looking for opportunities. So for me, I will take into I'll make an effort or conscious effort to collaborate and monitor my processes, collaborate with other teams, especially teams that are outside the procurement space, in order to see what they're doing and look for opportunities to improve. Do that with the same as the team, so encourage the team to be innovative, to look for opportunities, and to incrementally improve all aspects of their work. So that includes things like training, things like professional development courses, all those sort of things. And for me personally, I'll also be seeking opportunities to provide feedback at a range of forums and a range of different levels, especially in terms of providing input into strategic documents. The final thing I want to talk about is looking for trends and themes to improve and look at opportunities. So some things that I learned throughout this course and my expectations are all employees can look for opportunities. You don't have to have a title or you don't have to have a certain role within a company. Opportunities can be found in multiple places. They can be found anything from getting an invoice paid quicker to a massive transformational piece. So that was something I definitely learned. Spotify and Apple are great examples of this. They've shown that they continue to grow through challenging environments. And by challenging the norm and looking for innovations and opportunities, it's a massive benefit. In terms of how this shapes my management, actively engaging with colleagues to look for improvement initiatives is good. Subscribing to publications like Harvard Business Insights will give me a more holistic look at the market as opposed to my part within an organization. Upon finding or identifying innovative solutions, communicate them, no matter how small. It may be a case of a small innovation can lead to bigger ones, which over time would would lead to cost savings, reduced inefficiencies, all those sort of things. In the procurement world, this is something I already do, but make a more conscious effort to analyze the market and competitors, just to see what they're doing. Have a look at their processes where I can, to again identify opportunities. And the last thing is, don't be afraid to fail. Failure can sometimes be good. The culture at the business that I'm working at the moment is really good. They encourage innovation. They encourage trying new things, and if worse comes to worse, then that's okay. Yeah, so they're just a few points of things I've learnt throughout this course. As I said before, I found this course really helpful. I found a lot of the lessons, the videos, and the case studies really applicable to my work. And yeah, thank you.